In the past 3 years, I've been personally working with some of the highest performing millionaire entrepreneurs in this space to help them gain an unfair competitive advantage in terms of productivity, energy, and level of execution. Now, I've gained a lot of insights, not only about how they think, work, and operate, but also what are the key things that allow them to amplify their success so that you can steal them and make more money with your business. So in this video, I'll show you what are the things that those millionaire entrepreneurs do to outperform their competitors and become industry leaders in a very simple and straightforward way. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. So when you're running your business, let's say, as I've demonstrated here in the flow chart, the end goal should supposedly be making money, okay? In order to make money, you need to have an action plan. So your action plan is your, let's say, the things that you do every day, your plan of action in your business, the steps you take every single day in order to go a few steps closer every day to your goal. The things that will take you to, the things that will essentially contribute to you creating the action plan is this here: your knowledge, your environment, your skills, and your capital. I've worked with a lot of people. Again, I'm not saying this to impress you or anything. I'm just saying this for context, because all of those people, the main things they had in common is that they have leverage. They acquire leverage through knowledge, through environment, through skills, through capital. And they use all those things, they use all of those things to create an action plan. And by doing the action plan, you actually move closer to your goal. Now, someone would think that this is enough, this is what you need to do, and you will succeed. The other day, one of my clients asked me, what is the difference between me making 10 to 20K a month and a person making 300 to 400K a month? And so if you want to hear the difference, let's actually see, because we talked and I explained how this forges the action plan and how by following the action plan, you will ultimately get to your end goal, which is making money. And this is a cycle that repeats. But there is one very important thing that we forgot, that we didn't mention. Because yes, what the name of the game here, what you're trying to accomplish is get knowledge. And through the knowledge, you will be able to apply this to create your plan. So let's say this video, you gain one piece of advice, one simple golden nugget from this video, you apply this, this will help you create a better action plan. Your environment. What is your environment? The people that you're around, the city that you're living in, the mentors, the courses you got, the people that provide you with knowledge, which is your environment. Your skills, which is your ability to conduct, your ability to put in action, in practice, your knowledge. So your knowledge and your skills are very interconnected, and also your access to capital. So the more leverage you have, the more efficient the action plan is going to be. But the thing in the middle of the action plan and the goal and the results is this, which is your actual output. And if you see what all the guys in the top have in common, is that their actual output is very high, is significantly high. The main reason why most of those people come to me and we actually create a system that help them increase their actual output is something that the multiplier of success. Because even if you have the most optimal, the most perfect action plan ever, you have a lot of leverage, perfect knowledge, great environment, great skills, a lot of access to capital, and you have a perfect action plan, yes, you will advance forward, but the speed with which and the efficiency with which you will get results is insanely determined by your actual output. So let's actually analyze this. How do we know what that is? Because it's a very broad statement, right? It's a very abstract statement. Actual output. What does that even mean? So this is why I've designed this thing here, to figure out what our actual output is. Because if you're trying to play a game at a very high level, if you're trying to play very high intellectual level games, then leverage is not the only thing that matters. You make money, yes, you join courses, you join mentorship programs, you have a lot of great people with great, insane amount of knowledge around you that are helping you, but that's not enough, because Yes, the information you will acquire will help you tremendously, but the thing, again, the thing in between the knowledge and the skill and the actual result is your level of execution. And this is the formula I've created to actually determine your actual output. And essentially, think about it like a speed, your level of speed. Your output determines the speed in which you're moving towards your goal. Okay? So most people are going to be around decent and average. If you want to be playing the game at a very elite level, you obviously want to be at the elite level of output. Okay? How do we actually determine that? Well, let's go to the document here. So this is the work output calculator. And essentially the variables that we will measure is your input, okay, times leverage times level of execution. So your input is essentially your hours worked per week. It's a very fixed standard input. So let's say 60 hours, 50 hours, 40 hours, whatever. Now your leverage here is a couple of different things. So the exercise here, in order for us to determine the number we need to multiply your input with, we need to determine the number of leverage. And so let's say your knowledge, and by the way, in order to do that, you need to rank the following variables from a scale of 1 to 10. So let's actually do the exercise together. Let me pull up my calculator and let's do that together. So your level of knowledge in your particular field, okay? 1 is newbie level knowledge, just started out, and 10 is Grant Cardone or Hormozy, whatever. Most people, at least at the level with which I'm working at, like the people that have helped all those big entrepreneurs that we've worked with, Jordan Platten, Matt Shields, Thomas, all of the guys that you've probably seen in my page, they also have a level of knowledge which is pretty good. It's not Grant Cardone level of knowledge, of course, in their particular field, but one could say that it's like an 8, let's say, okay? So level of knowledge is an 8. Environment. The environment you're in currently, not just your home, but your network, the programs you're in, communities, friends, mentors, etc. 1 means that you're on your own, lone wolf, zero network. 10, you're in the top masterminds, live in a city full of entrepreneurs, Dubai or Miami, have the best mentors around you, etc. Most people, again, here are probably the people that we're talking about here, like the guy that we have in our minds right now, to give you the example, is probably around like a 8.5, or let's say 9. Skills, your ability to execute on your knowledge. So your knowledge and your skills is a different thing, because knowledge is theoretical, skills is practical implementation, your ability to execute, to implement the things you know. 1 is never implemented anything, 10, Grant Cardone, undercover billionaire, or something like that. It's just to prove the point. Skills, let's say for that particular person we're talking about, let's say a 8.5. Capital, your access to capital, flat broke or multi-millionaire, let's say an 8. So as we see here, we got a number of 34. So let's write here, let's say you're doing good with your business. Let's say you're making good money. Let's then go and calculate, and this is just an example. We can do like that applies to every single person. We're going to do different examples just for the sake of it. Let's say your level of execution. Now here's when things like, here's the multiplier. Okay. Let's say we're working, let's make it realistic. Let's say we're working 7 days a week for 8 hours a day. Okay, now 8 times 7 is 56. Let's say we're working a few more hours in the weekdays. Let's make it 60. Let's make it a good 60, which is a lot for a lot of people. That's a lot. For a few people, it's just peanuts. But let's say you're on an average of 60 hours a week. Okay, so 60 times 34 is actually 2040 so far. But let's actually calculate our level of execution, because this is good. I have a lot of money, like I'm working decent hours a week. I have a lot of money. I have a good environment, good knowledge, good skills. But my score is 2K right now, which is here, 4. So even if I have a lot of money, Yes, I have a ton of leverage, but my ability to execute on the action plan is very poor. I'm already going to be making a lot of money, but I'm going to be able to maintain that wealth because my ability to execute is not going to be that high. So now let's go ahead and just prove the point. Level of execution, your energy levels, daily average levels of energy, hardly awake or consistently on edge. Let's say, and this is where things start becoming tricky. This is why most people end up doing this, because they have a lot of leverage. They have a lot of, like, their numbers here are good, but here's where things start becoming sloppy. So let's imagine we're performing at a good level. So energy levels, let's say we're at an 8.5 daily. Focus. So your daily average level of focus, can't focus on one thing for more than 10 seconds. You make Buddha feel bad. Let's say we're also at an 8.5. And let's then say mental clarity. Your daily average of mental clarity. Total brain fog or crystal clear mind, laser eyes on the task. Let's say you're also an 8.5 there. So we're 25.5. So we are elite level of execution. So what we need to do now is just calculate the number here. So we need to just calculate this times 25.5. It will be 52K. So keeping that in mind, our level of execution, our actual output is 52,000. Now let's go back and let's say we're starting out, we're making like 10K a month or something. Our knowledge in the particular field is like a 6. Environment is like a 5. Skills is like a 5.5. Capital is like a 4. So we're like 20.5, which is advanced. We're actually getting to the elite level, so it's not too bad. So let's then say, so now we're making like a more realistic thing. 20.5 leverage. Let's still say we're still working for 60 hours a week. And then let's go and actually execute. Let's go and calculate the level of execution. Let's say energy levels is like a 6. Average focus is like a 5.5. I'm giving you numbers that I've experienced in the past with clients. And mental clarity is another 6. So we're 17.5 level of execution. So let's see the multiplier. Let's see where we're at right now. And by the way, this is a pretty decent amount of hours worked per week. So it actually matters a lot how many hours. 1,200 times 17.5, 21,000. So you see how important this metric here is? Because the number we came up with last time for the millionaire guy that has a lot of leverage was 2,000 something. 60 times this was 2,000. But we calculated this with a 27 or 25, and it was double this. So our level now is actually here, is average. Which means that if you're a person that is not really making too much, like 10 to 30K a month, your level of leverage is okay. You're putting in a decent amount of hours, but your level of execution is low. You're here. You're anything less than elite, then you are going to be moving slow. Period. And let me explain why. Because let's say even if you have the most perfect plan, the biggest multiplier that is going to determine if this bag is going to be 1 or if you're going to have a lot of bags here is your actual output. And how can you calculate your actual output? By this formula here. This is your actual output, which is pretty much your speed. And so the secret all those people have, all the entrepreneurs have that outcompete their competitors, the unfair advantage that allows them to outcompete the people surrounding them is their actual output. Because if you are in the space long enough, you're going to acquire knowledge. If you're in the right programs, if you have the right people around you, you're going to acquire enough knowledge. Your environment is going to be great. Your skills are going to improve. And as a result of that, you're going to acquire more capital. You're going to stack more money. As a result of that, your action plan is going to improve. You're going to make more money, and you're going to put that back into the capital thing. And you're going to build a better action plan. You're going to hire better and more team members. You're going to build more systems. But again, if your actual output is the one variable that doesn't really change, doesn't really improve, then also the biggest multiplier that will determine the speed of your success is not going to be a focus point. And so this is why all of the people, like the most of the clients that we've worked with, come to a point that they're making a lot of money, they're seeing a lot of success, they're seeing a lot of progress, but there comes to a point when they're kind of stagnating. So they're reaching a point of their speed of success slows down, and they figure out sooner or later that their actual output is not as good, they're not as productive as they think they are. So I hope you get the point with this video. I'm trying to, and by the way, you can have access to this document here by clicking the link in the description to calculate your own level of output, because it's super valuable. Your goal here should be to increase this level. And the biggest multiplier to do that is to increase your actual output. And if we go here to the work output calculator, your level of execution, which is the biggest multiplier here that will determine the number, is your energy levels, your focus, and your mental clarity. That's all you got to improve. And if you do that, it acts like a flywheel where, let's go back to the demonstration here. Like everything you acquire, you're going to be able to acquire knowledge, skills, capital faster, because your level of execution is just 10 times the level of the average person in your field. And so you're the industry leader because your level of output, your level of execution is insane. So you become smarter sooner. You have a better environment as a result of faster success. Your skills are improved faster, and you have more capital faster. And so this allows you to build an insane amount of leverage fast and be able to execute with crystal clear clarity. Because when you are going to be at the point when you have a lot of leverage, then it's actually super important to be in a very optimal mental state to take critical decisions, be sharp, be able to manage a lot of responsibility. So this is the differentiator of the people that are performing at their absolute peak and they're the leaders in the industry, and the people that are constantly trying to improve but are in a self-perpetuating cycle. So if you're asking what is the difference between me and a person that is making 10 times what I'm making, the difference is their actual output. And this is why most of the people that you see in the top are very meticulous about their performance. They're paying a lot of attention at variables like their sleep, their gut health. They're taking supplements to increase testosterone levels. They're doing blood work regularly. And the reason is that all of those factors actually affect your actual output. So this is what you need to focus on. This is the main thing that all those entrepreneurs have in common. And this is the difference between the mindset that all I need is leverage. All I need to improve is my knowledge, my environment, my skills, my capital, build a good action plan, make money. But sooner or later, you will come to the understanding of the level of speed of you acquiring the money through your action plan, becoming better at performing in your business through your action plan, is this here, your speed, your actual output. Hope this helps. If it's valuable, then leave a little like. It helps the algorithm so that more entrepreneurs see that. And if that's the case, I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye.